Hey gang, you miss me? Yeah, I don't hear from any of you guys. Here I am in the center of the universe in Rye. Yeah, I just figured I'd do one of these like fireside chat thingies. Except it's a porch side chat. Sun's out, pretty nice out here. We've all been kind of rattled with the things that have been happening lately. And we see a divided nation and a divided world. We see things that are like good versus evil. We see a lot of labeling and prejudice. All those things that we're not supposed to be doing. And people were kind of like wondering, well, what the heck's happening here? Are we doing the apocalypse or what? It's something that a lot of people have been talking about, and it's called the Great Awakening. And it's different things for different people. There's kind of the New Age version of it where there is a spiritual awakening. There's some folks who are talking about an economic awakening where we go to like Bitcoin or what is it? I don't know, think of more of a universal script, digital currency, that kind of thing, which actually, in a way, wouldn't be too bad. I might be getting used to it, but eventually we will go to one currency. Because it makes sense. Imagine when you go into different countries and stuff like that. You wouldn't have to worry about what's the exchange on a freaking dollar. And it's all the same. There would be different things between the central bank and what is it? The International Money Monetary Fund. And that is probably going to change. It might not be right away, but the gears are already grinding. And then there's other types of awakenings to what exactly is justice? What exactly is it to live in freedom? And how do we do that when the world is the way it is right at the moment? Well, those of you who know me, you know that I'm Baha'i, and I'm a follower of the Prophet Baha'u'llah. And Baha'u'llah tells us a lot of stuff, and he told it to us over 100 years ago. In fact, probably after 1863, till he passed in 1892. And we believe that he is the return of the Spirit of Christ. Now, notice I didn't say he's the return of Jesus. And people are like, what is she talking about? In the Bible, it warns us that when Jesus came back, if you heard people who would say, oh, Jesus is here, Jesus is there, don't believe them. And you have to wonder, well, he did say he was coming back. How are we going to say to other people, hey, look, there he is? You know? We also were taught that it was a literal thing. And I don't think it is, because Jesus himself said he was spirit. And, let the dead bury their dead. Now, obviously, a dead person can't go and bury their dead. What does that mean? It's a spiritual reference. If you're spiritually dead, yeah, go ahead. Do your earthly stuff, because you don't get it. But people are getting it. People are kind of like, okay, deer in the headlights. What the heck's going on? Well, some folks are expecting, world catastrophes, Armageddon, you know, the last, what do you call it, battle between good and evil, Satan and God, however you want to look at that. Most of that, by the way, is in the self, not out here. It's in the self. We fix it in the self, we fix it all over. There also has to be something that Baha'u'llah stressed upon, which is world unity. And believe it or not, he mentioned a new world order. And I know there's a bunch of my friends who are going to be like, oh my God, she's talking about the new world order, and that's bad, and it's globalist, and all this other kind of stuff. And don't worry, it's not that. The, the new world order that was talked about and planned back, like I said, in the 1800s, was nothing like what these fools are trying to put on us right now. They have, well, probably not, they don't probably have the right heart to be, doing this, because it's coming from greed, not sustainability and love for one's brother and, our neighbors and our worldly neighbors, that kind of thing. Baha'u'llah wanted us to unite, not in like, we're going to do it my way or the highway. Far from it. It would be a unity in diversity. So you can take it like with the United States or with Europe, for instance. They have all different little countries, or in our case, it's states. All of them are diverse in their various ways, and they have their own laws. Most of them are about the same, but they might have some different ones here and there to meet the needs of their people. And in the end, we have a federal government that everybody has to, unite behind, because that unity and that justice gives us peace. We need to get back to that as a country, and we need to have the world finally decide that it's the only way that we're going to survive. To have this isolationist thing, well, we're going to do our thing and you're going to do your thing. We all need each other. Somebody's got water. Well, we get food. Or somebody's got technology. It's trade. And there needs to be, a fairness in that as well. And all these things, while they're earthly, somewhat material, it's why we do it. That's spiritual. And, to be the very basic golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Sorry, God. If we just did that, and to love your neighbor as yourself, we probably would have world peace. But we got quite a few people who just ain't doing that. Or, some of the other kind of, all the religions have a form of the golden rule. So, like, do what you will, but harm you none. Same thing. Now that doesn't mean, the first, you can't go at the beginning of that sentence and do what you want, because it might hurt somebody. We have to be mindful, and instead of like watching that the Great Spirit or Great Mystery, God, Goddess, is watching you from somewhere way up there somewhere. No, it's right here. Right there. Right there. Church is right there. Temple is right there. Your worshiping area, your altar, whatever, is right there. Your God, Goddess is right there. So it's like, you can't get away with anything, guys. It amazes me, the folks, and me included, I've done it, I'm no saint. But some of the stuff that we're seeing, hearing about, people getting arrested and all that stuff, and we find out via evidence that the system is very corrupt. People can be extremely corrupt and have no heart for themselves and no heart for their fellow man. That's got to change. And it's got to change by the recognition of Baha'u'llah, or if you want to call it the return of Buddha, the fifth Buddha, the return of the Christ Spirit, Moses mentioning the Messiah, and the Muslims with their, they consider Muhammad the last prophet, the seal of the prophets. They think it's the last prophet. And they're right in a way, in our opinion. The seal of the prophets, last prophet, was for a prophetic cycle of thousands of years. Then a new cycle started. And we already have 2 prophets from that area. And thank God that a little investigation into the Bible, the Quran, and some other books, you'll find that everybody seems to have a promised one. Somebody who's either coming back, a Messiah, somebody's going to fix stuff. And I think that's very true. And in our case, in the Baha'is case, he already came. And he set up a plan to get this world united. And back to that, world unity and the world government and stuff like that. How would that work? Well, it would work democratically. And it has to be voluntary. But once it's done, everybody's going to do like we do already, most of us, is obey the damn law. Try not to screw up too much, right? So, our system of democracy is very much like America's. And so we have communities and regions, and every year we get together and we pick a delegate. The number of delegates is like the number of senators, or in this case I guess it'd be congressmen, because like Texas would have a lot more, New Hampshire and Maine would have a lot less. And these go into a national assembly convention to vote for the national body, which is 9 members. So that's quite a few. And I think one thing Baha'u'llah saw was that the weight of the, running a government, the executive branch anyway, is just too heavy for one person. So we got 9. And they rule, and guess what? They have something called term limits. Sort of. I mean, if they get voted in again, that's fine. But if they don't, that's fine too. Because it's not a lifelong thing. And I know that would be very common with folks who believe in term limits for our leaders. And I think that's reasonable. Then the national assemblies, or the delegates there, from there, they go to Haifa, Israel. That's our world center. And they vote for 9 members of what we call the Universal House of Justice. This is our world governing body. Again, it's not a lifetime position. And again, for 9 people, it's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. Now, we may not be really big yet, but we're probably, last I knew, over 6 million worldwide. And, we have to stay out of politics, which is really hard for me. I have to be very careful. We can't hold political office. Baha'is, when they are in their government, you can't campaign. Can you imagine if we never saw campaign advertisement ever again? Oh, hallelujah. Think of the trees we'd save. It would be really awesome. And so how do you get somebody qualified? Well, first of all, you got to know their character. You got to know what they've been up to. So that's why it starts at the local level. And that's what we got missing now. Because either it's corrupt or people don't know each other anymore. I mean, remember the time when we all knew our neighbors? We could pick and say, oh, I know so-and-so for so many. Oh, he used to be on the school board. Or this one, has been a teacher. This one's got a law degree. And they're good. They're, into the community. They love people. They don't have a record. There's no suspicions about them. And so you decide amongst those people, and it's a secret ballot, and you vote for them. And the one who gets the most gets it. And one thing else that we do is we have to pray about it. And you can, pray any way you like about that. And you're just asking God to help you, help us decide, what is the truth? Help us to handle the truth, and then help us to do what we got to do. And be detached, because now you're in a body that's what we call an institution. It's something that can't be in and of itself, the members are like one. Now, there are ways to, let's say, a local assembly has made some kind of mistake in your opinion. Well, you certainly can take it to the next level, just like we do the court system. But once it gets to the Universal House of Justice, whatever they say goes. And that's kind of similar, right? So what about this New World Order? This is supposed to be a time of peace. But what we're going through now is the birth pangs of that peace. And they suck. But depending on how you look at this, if you're looking at something like, oh, this is like Armageddon or something like that, you notice in the holy books, they mention this very time of tribulation. A time of, and that just seems like such a minor word these days. Pandemic, plagues. Those of you who know the Old Testament, you know about the 10 plagues. I think we had more than 10 in the last year. Does he have your attention yet? And how, we see problem after problem after problem after problem, and it's so inundating and everything. If we go back to what God wants us to do, and again, a lot of it's universal. Don't kill. Don't steal. Don't be corrupt. Honor your parents. You know what I mean? Don't covet. It's hard. We're human and we all screw up. Let's try not to screw up and take down the whole neighborhood, or the whole country. There's this thing about greed and materialism. And America, believe it or not, has been chosen by God to be the one who unfolds the most great peace. And you're probably looking at, after what we've been through, seriously, everybody's screwed up. How could that possibly be? Yeah, well, it is hard to believe sometimes, but God does keep his promises. And if we can live through this and birth this baby through and not kill each other, we could bring forth what we call the lesser peace, which is a political peace. The most great peace is one of a spiritual one. Now, I would say individually, you can grab a piece of that peace now. But that means we have to detach and, kind of visualize being, I don't know, way out there in the galaxy somewhere, looking at our little big blue marble. Remember that show? And as we look at it, it seems like there's no problems on planet Earth. And just for a few minutes every day, take yourself out there, or at least take yourself to the Grand Canyon or someplace that's beautiful and pray and just be by yourself and in that peace. Because if you can bring that peace within yourself, even for a few minutes, 20 if you can do it, your whole day will be better. Your whole vibration will be better. You'll feel better. And that will, like tuning forks, they resonate to everybody that surrounds you. And it's a chain reaction. And instead of the chain reaction that we're seeing now, which is crappy, really crappy. If peace starts with me, right? If I try really hard not to choke the crap out of most people, that vibration is going to go out. And maybe, just maybe, it makes sense to me that people are going to want peace. But peace doesn't necessarily mean taking crap that's unjust. Baha'u'llah tells us that justice is the best beloved of all things in my sight. Turn not away therefrom, if thou desirest me, and neglect it not, that I may confide in thee. By its aid thou shalt see with thine own eyes. What's that mean? Investigate the truth for yourself. By it, yeah. Now I got it all screwed up. My brain just went. And you shall know of your own knowledge, and not through the knowledge of your neighbor. Now it's fine to hear something from your neighbor. We all do. And we all, hey, did you hear? And that's okay to a point. But when it comes down to the really important stuff, we need to find out for ourselves. We need to find out. Is there paperwork? Are there pictures? Are there videos? And right now, if you're willing to look, and you gotta be. You gotta be. Or it's this thing that's coming is going to smack you upside your head. Some of us are already ready. As ready as we can be. Things unexpected are going to come. And I think the only thing we really need to fear is not being the best selves we can possibly be to ourselves and to our fellow man. Now it seems like, oh God, she's going hippie crazy, No, I'm not drunk. Seriously, I wish I was. Clean and sober, many, many, many decades. I never have any fun. But, I'm a God-fearing person. Why would I have fun? He is the humorous. That's true. That's one of his titles, really. I think God really can take a joke. But I think he also is a good parent. He lets us get into stuff and get burned and get hurt so that we learn. Some people got to ask themselves, how many times do I got to smack my finger, bang my head, get into trouble before hey, it feels better if I stop. I don't know, that's probably enough. Oh my God, I'm going 20 minutes and you're all sleeping. Well, hey, if this works to get you to sleep, hey, I'm going to empower you. Go ahead and sleep. Peace is coming, guys. We probably have a hard road to go through first. Stay detached as much as you can. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Stand up for what's right. We all try to do that, and we all got to support each other. That's the thing, unity. Unity in diversity. Not unity, oh, you have to be like me, or you got to be like this person, or you got to be like that leader. No, that's not it. Absolutely not it. God wants us to be diverse, like the flowers of a garden. You guys see my garden. Is my garden all white? Is my garden all yellow? Is it all red? No. It's all different flowers, all different colors. They all come out at different times. They all have growth, different growth periods, different heights. And it's, in my opinion, the most beautiful garden in Rye. Maybe in the world. All right. Okay. But God kind of helps with that. Right out there. Think of the beauty and the diversity of the garden. And the birds that are all diverse and all beautiful. Some dull, some bright, some blue, some big, some little, some are predators, some aren't. And they're all gorgeous. They're all gorgeous, and they all follow the law. Their law. Now, remember, we ain't animals. We can stop acting like it. We have a higher calling. And here's your wake-up call. Believe me, I've had a few of them myself. Wake up. Because there's a new world coming. And I guess we're all invited to be a part of it. Thanks for listening, guys.